Hey guys, today we're going to visit the Tupelo National Battlefield site. Come along with us. Let's go explore. This is Tupelo National Battlefield. Many people pass by here every day and perhaps think this is just a couple of cannons set out here as a memento from some Civil War battles, but little do they realize that a very spirited engagement occurred right here. The Battle of Tupelo was directly related to what happened at Bryce's Crossroads a month earlier, but we'll get into that in just a bit. Notice modern day Highway 6 or Main Street runs parallel to or even directly on top of where the Union line once stood. The Union right flank stretched out in the direction we're walking now. General Stephen D. Lee was directing a series of uncoordinated Confederate attacks, and the second attack by the Confederates came from that direction. You could say the Confederates came from Walmart, maybe even. The first attack came from a little south off in this direction. The Union line would have stretched from our left all the way back around to where the camera is panning now. In a few minutes we'll take a ride down and show you how far that went. Lieutenant Cox was from Calhoun County, I believe, and he was probably killed on July the 14th when he and his comrades made a gallant charge in stifling heat. Lieutenant Cox and Private Wiley Morgan were killed. There were a few more from their company wounded as well. It looks as if there are other graves up here, but I only see one more marker. We look to the left of Lieutenant Cox and you see some indentions in the grounds and where maybe markers used to be, which leaves me a little astounded, frankly. I've driven by this place thousands of times and had no idea this was a graveyard. This is the grave of John Jefferson Stone. He was discharged due to a disability in 1862. He may have later joined the 2nd Mississippi State Cavalry. He was buried here at Harrisburg in 1866 after the war. I'm going to try to look around a bit to give you some idea or maybe a little bit better perspective about the distance this battle line covered. This battle happened basically for the same reason Bryce's Crossroads did. Sherman was terribly concerned about keeping General Forrest off and away from his supply line. Sherman wanted to proceed on into Atlanta. His supply line depended upon the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad, and this was certainly threatened by a capable general such as Nathan Bedford Forrest. Forrest had already beaten General Sam Sturgis at Bryce's Crossroads about a month earlier. It's July, and Sherman still needs General Forrest to stay in Mississippi. He orders his commander in Memphis to make up a force and go out and follow Forrest to the death if it costs 10,000 lives and breaks the treasury. So 14,000 Federal soldiers under the command of Major General Andrew Smith left Memphis on July the 5th, and they met up with General Stephen D. Lee and Nathan Bedford Forrest here in Tupelo on July the 13th, 14th, and 15th. On the morning of July the 14th, around 7:30 a.m., the Confederates began the attack. The Confederates failed to break the Federal center pretty close to this monument. Then they failed to break the Federal right. Then they attacked after dark without having a very significant effect. So on July the 15th, we're dealing with the Confederates and the heat and having nothing but coffee and worm-infested crackers to eat and very low ammunition. General Smith headed back to Memphis. Before we go to Old Town Creek, let's drive up the highway here and show you the other end of the Union line. The first Confederate attack happened back a touch to the southwest of the National Battlefield site. The second attack happened right toward the monument at the National Battlefield. The third attack close to where Cliff Gookin Boulevard crosses Highway 145. And the fourth Confederate attack happened reasonably close to where you are now. Here in just a second, the railroad tracks are beginning to come into view, and that's going to be real close to where that fourth attack happened. I sure do wish the Tupelo National Battlefield had better interpretive signs. It sure would help. Okay. Even though Smith and the Federals were supposed to destroy Forrest and his Confederates on July the 14th, they ran low on ammunition and rations and decided not to pursue them. Well, and they withdrew on the morning of the 15th and came to Old Town Creek to camp that night. Well, about noon or so, the Confederates discovered that the Federals had withdrawn and caught up with them here at Old Town Creek. If you like this content, hit that like button. General Forrest attacked General Smith and the Federals as they were resting here at Old Town Creek. The Confederates opened up with artillery and infantry fire from a commanding ridge south of Old Town Creek. The Federals then forced the Confederates off the ridge and basically back to Harrisburg, or Tupelo. General Forrest was wounded in these attacks and was out of action for a couple of weeks afterwards. Here's a great sign with all the major players in the battle. Union General A.J. Smith. This is General Joseph A. Mower, commander of the Federal Cavalry. General Stephen D. Lee, Confederate commander, and Nathan Bedford Forrest, Confederate Cavalry commander. I want to take one more look out toward Old Town Creek and just enjoy the view. An old Mississippi farm field, for me, is a beautiful and serene place to be. And I've got to remind you folks to do a little reading and study on your own. This book, Work for Giants by Thomas Parson, is supposed to be the premier book for study about the Battle of Tupelo. It's available on Amazon, eBay, and at the Final Stands Interpretive Center. We certainly hope you've enjoyed getting to see, learn, and explore all about the Battle of Tupelo today. Thank you.